The No New Friends podcast is brought to you by Sandpiper Vacations. For the best in vacation plannings, just visit www.sandpipervacations.com. Let them know that the No New Friends podcast sent you.
I had 2 cameras in there. All right. I had my phone. I had the No, I had a quadruple shot of tequila and forgot I had all of those things in there.
Yes. Okay, so back to the tequila. When she originally told us this story months ago about the quadruple shot, I thought it was an exaggeration. We tend to do that on this show. No, she comes up and, like, again, it's the Indiana Jones cart. It's 20 feet away from the entrance of Star Tours. It is legit a quadruple, because like on the solo cups there's lines to mark the measurements. This is like a half a solo cup of tequila, and I'm like,
wait, Disney's passing out solo cups now?
Yeah.
Well, it's because they're in the Star Wars area, so it's Han Solo cups.
Oh.
Yeah, I'll be here all week, guys. Here all week.
Oh, not great.
Get out of here.
Broadcasting from the Sandpiper Vacation Studios. It's time for the No New Friends podcast. The podcast for adults who love to laugh at adulting. The good, the bad, and the funny.
Okay, here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's showtime. It's showtime.
That's right, you're listening to the No New Friends podcast, voted number 1 by our friends and family and number 3 by the readers at the Orlando Weekly. We are the podcast for adults who love to laugh at adulting. If you'd like to connect with us on all of our social media, our links are right there on our website, nonewfriendspodcast.com. While you're there, check out our sweet merchandise and join our clubhouse. Become a friend with benefits. And no, that's not just a night with Mary. Become a Patreon member. You can watch us record these things live as they're happening. And we also stream live on Twitch. That's www.twitch.tv/NNF podcast. You can see all the shenanigans as they're happening live. My name is Scott. I am the host. With me, our talented cast of crew. We've got the queen of Shutter Island, Mary. Everybody's favorite food truck critic, Sarah.
Hello.
Our emotional support gay, Nick.
Hey, girl.
Our producer, Alex.
What does the word producer mean?
And the scumbag reselling hoarder himself, Chris.
You had my curiosity, but now you have my attention.
Isn't that Great Gatsby? It's Leonardo DiCaprio.
It is Leonardo DiCaprio.
What's Eating Gilbert Grape? I don't know.
Django Unchained.
Yes, it is Django.
Very good.
Yes.
I should know that because you literally use that quote every single week.
Tonight was the first. Tonight was the first time I got it right because I was getting it wrong.
Why would you think that was What's Eating Gilbert Grape? Do you know anything about that movie? Like,
no, I don't.
He barely
Clearly.
What? He was dirty and climbed trees.
I do have a question, Scott.
Yes.
I don't know if it's just, I'm progressing to a later stage in my life. I don't know if it's the alcohol I've been drinking tonight, but I took a step back and I'm questioning things that I usually don't question. Every episode you start off by, that's right, you're listening to No New Friends podcast. People are physically clicking play on the No New Friends podcast. And then they hear you saying,
reminding them.
That's right, you're listening to the No New Friends podcast. I think when you start calling me, I'm going to start answering like, that's right, you're calling Chrissy out. Kind of funny. Kind of funny.
You know what it is, Chris, is for the first 20 some odd episodes or whatever, I had no idea how to start the show. I was like, welcome to, and I hate welcome to the No New Friends podcast or whatever. So, it comes right after the whole intro with the guy saying the good, the bad, and the funny.
Right.
So I'm just,
wait.
just confirming.
It comes right after the guy who says you're listening to the No New Friends podcast. If you want some tips.
That's right. Just in case they weren't sure.
They were questioning, maybe.
They were questioning the singer.
You want some tips, Scott? I'm actually pretty good at intros and outros. We can talk after the podcast.
Okay, all right. Yeah, you're real good at it.
If you got 5 hours of time.
So, had a fun day today. Game Master Ryan is in town. Him and his lovely wife. And
sorry to hear that.
And their amazing son. And so I met them today at Hollywood Studios. And I was also I've also hung out with Lewis and Sarah were there as well.
Yes.
And what's funny is Sarah started talking and I was like, oh my gosh, you do speak. It's not just in one-liners here or there. It's actual full sentences. But what was so, what threw me off is I thought Sarah was going to perform for us on a stage like Sarah Unplugged, because her Loungefly backpack was in the shape of a guitar. Like, it was a full guitar. And I thought for sure there was a guitar in there. She was ready to go. Now, Sarah, how do you wear that all day?
Well, that's the thing. I knew I was only going to be there for a few hours, so I was okay with wearing it because it's heavy and I could literally use it as a weapon. But it works that way because there's little kids all around me and I could just accidentally smack one with it. And, no, I would never do that, obviously. But
she paves the way.
She paves the way.
Yeah.
Mary, this thing you could fit you inside Sarah's bag. It is literally the shape of a guitar.
Listen, I got it and I had to have it. And, I didn't expect it to be the size that it was, but I could probably fit an actual...
It's so funny. My wife said the same thing the first time I took off my pants, but it didn't sound as happy, and it was the opposite.
I didn't know this was a miniature collection.
And if it doesn't say Micro Machines, it's not the real thing.
I could probably fit a whole ukulele in that thing, though. Honestly.
Oh, 100%, with room to spare.
Did you even see what I had in there?
No, I don't look inside a woman's bag.
Listen, I had 2 cameras in there. All right. I had my phone. I had No, I had a quadruple shot of tequila and forgot I had all of those things in there.
Yes. Okay. So back to the tequila. When she originally told us this story months ago about the quadruple shot, I thought it was an exaggeration. We tend to do that on this show. No, she comes up and again, it's the Indiana Jones cart. It's 20 feet away from the entrance of Star Tours. It is legit a quadruple, because on the solo cups, there's lines to mark the measurements. This is like a half a solo cup of tequila. And I'm like,
wait, Disney's passing out solo cups now?
Yeah.
It's because they're in the Star Wars area, so it's Han Solo cups.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay, you're all weak, guys. You're all weak.
Oh, not great.
Get out of here.
Now they were on Rock and Roller Coaster before I got there. So I met them in the Rock and Roller Coaster courtyard. And it seemed like they were gone forever. Enough time for me to drink 3 beers. They came off and I put my hands up in the air and then I put up the number 2 for how many beers I had. So it was a day. I'm hungover at 8:30 in the evening. So, Mary, I threw another temper tantrum, as I quite often do when I'm at the parks.
What happened this time? I would like to also formally apologize for not making it today. I had every intention to. I really did.
It would have been great, honestly.
Look,
did not think for a second that you would be there.
Next Wednesday. Oh, no, I can't. I actually can't. I'm going to be...
Exactly.
I'm sorry. Friday?
Do you want to come to Epcot tomorrow? No, you've got an exam tomorrow, right?
I do have an exam, and I have a doctor's appointment, and I have to go fingerprint myself again. Remember?
Oh.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, can you record? We'll put that on our OnlyFans.
I'll try to. Okay, tell me about your temper tantrum so we can walk through your big emotions, because we all have them sometimes.
Okay, so we go to ride Star Tours, and it's a different video each time, or different sequence and all that. But I'd never seen Lando giving us the message, so I clapped in the middle of the ride. I'm cheering like I was at the opening night of Endgame, and so before the ride starts, right, we're all putting on our seatbelts. And I'm all for safety. I'm all for double checking and all that. But what I'm not for is extra steps that waste my time and everybody else around me. So we're all, putting our seatbelt on, and the ride attendant is like, okay, pull the yellow strap. Mary, I lose my mind. I absolutely lose my mind. And I look over at Ryan and Sarah, and I'm like, there's literally behind that door, there's a bunch of lights. And if the light is green, the seatbelt is fastened. If it's orange, it's not. Why the hell do we have to pull our strap to make sure it's fastened? Just open the door.
I can tell you why. I can tell you why.
Don't rationalize this.
Okay.
It's not like you're gonna...
So listen, before you ranted, you should have told me what type of friend you need me to be. Did you need a solution or to work through it, or did you just want me to listen? Okay, because sometimes you have to tell me those things. Okay,
if it's
so
on
I'm
the
here
podcast,
to listen.
I just want you to listen and respond in a comedic manner. Don't rationalize.
What an inconsiderate asshole.
Thank you. He's just doing his job.
I cannot believe that.
Why is that step there? Okay, now
Did
I'm asking.
he make you finish your
why
beer
is that step
before
there?
you got on, too?
You can't bring the beer into the building, Mary.
Oh my gosh.
It's the most
Once
annoying
again,
cue.
like, what? What?
It is the most annoying cue on Disney property.
I'm going to ban it. I don't even want to talk about it anymore.
Let's cancel Star Tours.
That's why it was 20 feet for a quadruple shot of tequila for me.
Right. All right, so Mary, you have the answer. Why are they double checking to make sure that my seatbelt is fastened when you can just open the door?
Because I think it makes the guest feel safe, that they know that there's like a safety check in place. Also, if for some reason something does malfunction, they can be like, well, that was like a double, like another like fail proof like type of thing. Like, yeah, there was also like an okay from the guest that yes, they feel secure. You know,
so they just like to waste my time. Heard.
That's what I think. So I think that what I was going to say in third, they hate you.
Yes, exactly. They do hate me.
It's in their manual, and you should know. Like it's there. Like it's in the manual. Like I think page 216 somewhere. Like screw Scott Maffei.
Just annoy Scott.
Yeah, I understand on certain rides if that panel is not there, but there's that panel, and he even opens the panel to check are all the. After he did the yellow strap test.
So you don't want people to make sure you're safe, is what you're saying.
I don't want to add extra steps when they've already made sure I'm safe by opening that panel to see.
But what if that panel malfunctions, Scott?
Then the ride won't start.
Where are these yellow straps located?
How do you know?
The yellow straps are on the seatbelt. They're like, oh, pull the yellow strap.
Wow, is that what he sounded like?
This guy, yes.
Listen, everybody on Star Tours knew how Scott felt about the yellow straps. Everybody.
Why does he sound like Marty Moose?
I don't know.
From Vacation. Pull the yellow strap.
Sarah's point,
close, kids. Like, why does he sound like that?
He did sound like that. But to Sarah's point, yes, throughout the entire attraction, I kept talking about the yellow strap. Oh my God, thank God my yellow strap is on. I'd probably fall out. I mean, like you're not like it's not a roller coaster. You're not going up, so you're not going to fall out of your seat. Seatbelts aren't even necessary.
You definitely aren't going anywhere. Okay,
the first safety precaution is that you are sitting in a seat. Okay, you're welcome. That's check one. Then you have a seatbelt, which is another win. Okay, there's so many things before having to check the yellow strap. Yes, Nick.
So this ride, the entire ride is enclosed. So it's not like if you fell out, you're not going to go anywhere.
Exactly.
You might just flop around a little bit. But
the flesh wound.
I mean, you're already getting whiplash either way. So
what happens to like if you put garlic in like a sealed container and you shake it up a whole bunch and it peels itself? That's what could happen to you,
This is not
Scott.
that. No, it's not that strong of a ride, Mary. I love that you're trying to make sense out of this. So
that was your temper
it's a bad
tantrum.
ride to do with alcohol to begin with.
Right. Yeah, I would agree with that.
I felt every bit of that tequila after that ride.
So,
and where's this tequila again? Sorry, I need to write this down.
It's the stand right outside of Indiana Jones. There's a liquor.
I know.
Yeah.
Perfect. Noted.
So,
I'll show you. Don't worry.
Speaking of Indiana Jones,
Show me.
Well, you have to show up in order for us to show you, Mary.
I know, it's true.
Okay, we can tell you where it's at and commit to showing you all we want, but you got to be in school, so you miss things. It happens. So, speaking of Indiana Jones, you guys know I love that show. It's my favorite theme park attraction in any theme park ever. Well, Ryan hates Indiana Jones, absolutely loathes that attraction. So we had some time to kill before Rise of the Resistance, and he's like, all right, you want to go see Indiana Jones? What's the next show? And I was like, in 3 minutes. Do we have enough time?
Scott's like, he pulls out a whip and he's like, it's funny you asked that.
I ripped off my shirt. I had the jacket and the Indy shirt with the fedora on. So I'm like, well, we've got 3 minutes. I don't know if we're going to make it. And he's like, we're literally outside of the theater. We can make it. So we go in. Now,
3 minutes is like a million minutes for you, Scott. Like,
3 minutes
like
is a
so
win.
long.
My perspective on time is
yeah. So
I'm so excited. We run into the stadium about 2 minutes before the show starts. Now, I have a very high expectation for the Indiana Jones show. The marking of a perfect show is when Indy falls from the ceiling instead of coming from behind the rocks. If the mechanic at the end goes through the trap door, and if they can get through the market scene in all one take. Okay, that is the perfect show for me. So the show's about to start. The music's going on. All of a sudden, Indy drops from the ceiling, and I'm hitting Ryan. I'm like, it's going to be the perfect show. It's going to be the perfect show. And he goes to light up the torch, and then you hear, and cut. Due to a medical emergency, this performance of Indiana Jones Stunt Show is canceled. And Ryan looked at me. He goes, you were right. It was the perfect Indiana Jones show.
That's fantastic. So who died?
I don't know. We had to leave the stadium. They very urgent, like, okay, everybody needs to go. I have no idea.
Wow. Oh man, now I need to know. First you had my interest. Now you have
All right, you guys ready for Remy's word of the week?
Oh, yeah. I don't know if I'm ever ready. But
Yes, please.
All right. This is, I've added some enhancements to this segment. It's super exciting. So here we go. Here is Lord Remy's word of the week.
Praise your Savior, let him speak. It's Lord Remy's word of the week.
Oh my God.
Hello, my children, and welcome to another episode of Lord Remy's Word of the Week. Now, Scott gave me a great word for this week, and I hope you guys enjoy this because, you know what, this word, I don't want to say a lot of it because I could say something else, I could say something wrong, but that is what we are here to discuss about. And today's word is, this word is a noun, all right? And this word is called knickerbocker, all right? So pretty much what it is, it's a New Yorker, and knickers, also known as breeches, underwear, loose-fitting short pants gathered at the knee, also known as knickers. Now, here's the other thing that I got as well from this word. A nickname for New Yorker in a historical context, knickerbocker can refer to the early Dutch settlers of New York, particularly during the Dutch colonial period in the 1600s. Washington Irving's character Diedrich Knickerbocker in his book A History of New York is often associated with this term. Actually, it was first used in 1820. A little bit of the history of this word is the word Knickerbocker has a rich history that is closely tied to the early Dutch settlers in what is now New York. Here is a little overview of its historical development. All right, so pretty much what I gathered is that knickerbockers is a form of baggy knee breeches, particularly popular in the early 20th century. Until after World War I, in many English-speaking countries, boys customarily wore short pants in summer and knee pants in the winter. Well, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed that word. And that word for you guys, once again, is knickerbocker. And guys, back to this episode of the No New Friends podcast. That will do it for your holiness.
This is Abby with the correct pronunciations to last week's word of the day and the words I'm learning in middle school word of the day. First of all, Remy mispronounced, categorized, pretentious, gaudiness, and finally, obviousness. Get it together, Remy. So, this week's middle school word of the week is slay, or slay queen, which means killed it, succeed in something amazing. Miley's new album slayed it. Or Remy did not slay word of the day. That's all for me. Slay queen.
Praise your Savior, let him speak. It's Lord Remy's word of the week.
Oh, thank you so much, Lord Remy.
I did not give you permission to go to my church and record that.
I've never heard a harder pronounced C in my entire life.
There's 4 syllables in that word. I'm pretty sure I heard 8 when he pronounced it. He just wanted to make sure. Everything is pronounced. That was.
Ooh, and he said it. Look, he prefaced it. He was like, I am going to make sure I do not.
That could be our best segment we've ever produced.
It could be. I was telling Nick before we started recording. I was like, I've worked really hard this. Nick.
You were telling Nick.
Or
2 syllables.
Or Nick for long. Nick with the Nick with the no hard R at the end. Anyway, so I worked so hard on the pre-production this week of this week's show. But anyway, you're listening to the New Friends podcast. We'll be right back.
There are 3 things that I hate in life: taxes, nausea, and booking vacations. The first 2 I'm stuck with, but for the third, I use Sandpiper Vacations. Sandpiper Vacations is a small business that is LGBTQ+ owned and operated with travel advisors all over the country. Whether it's a cruise, a trip to a theme park, or an all-inclusive resort, Sandpiper has you covered. Oh, and I forgot to mention, it's free. Why book a vacation when you can have someone else do it for you? That's like choosing to take the stairs in a building that has an elevator. Leave the headaches of booking a vacation to someone else. Get your quote today at www.sandpipervacations.com and tell them that the No New Friends podcast sent you.
Psst. Hey, you. You want to join a cult? Well, this might be your lucky day. For just $2 a month and a simple blood oath, you can join our clubhouse and become a friend with benefits. In addition to the amazing feeling of donating to the poor, you will have access to Patreon-exclusive content, live shows, and maybe even a behind-the-scenes look at my secret stash. To get started, head on over to NoNewFriendsPodcast.com and hit Join Our Clubhouse. Can't wait to see you at the initiation ceremony. Oh, and in the chat during our live shows, of course.
Hey, everybody. Why don't you give the old Black Lincoln Collective podcast a listen? We're funny, we're fat, and we're here 24/7 at blcpodcast.com. Anytime you want to listen, anywhere, all your favorite podcast apps. Of course, we have a YouTube channel where you can stream live with the show. Check out our shorts. We're funnier the less you hear of us. That's been a Black Lincoln Collective podcast at blcpodcast.com.
Hey, guys, comedian James John, and you are listening to the No New Friends podcast.
Welcome back to the New Friends podcast. If you listen to us on Spotify or Apple, please leave us a 5-star rating and review. We love that kind of stuff. Nick, do you have any on hand for you right now?
I do actually have a really awesome review. This comes from Lunapier, maybe? I don't know. Lunaper? Maybe we need Remy to read these names. Some of these names on here. So they posted back in March, title, Drop Dead Funny. So they might be dead and not listening anymore.
Oh, that's sad.
It was a 5-star review. It says, Scott, Chris, Mary, and Sarah are the highlights of my week. By far my favorite podcast.
Aww.
Absolutely love the NNF After Dark episodes. So thank you very much for that review and for not mentioning my name. I wasn't on the main show yet.
Yes, yeah.
They did mention After Dark.
Right.
But I feel bad that they are dead now because they laughed too hard. Yeah. So.
I mean, also really sweet of them to say every week and mention my name.
I know.
Nick,
in the few short weeks that he's been here, has already been in more episodes than Mary. Speaking of death, Sarah, do you have a Jimmy Carter update for us and our celebrity death updates?
Well, we have a lot of celebrity deaths, but Jimmy Carter is not one of them. He's still kicking, living his best life.
Still licking the ice cream, right? It's still. Is that
Hopefully, that's all he's licking.
Whoa.
We've got Jimmy Buffett, of course.
The wrong Jimmy. It was the wrong Jimmy.
Wrong Jimmy.
Anybody have a guess as to how old Jimmy Buffett was? Jimmy Buffett.
Ooh.
Chris, what do you think?
79.
79. Nick?
I thought it was 78.
78. Mary?
74.
Mary said, I say 76. Sarah, do you have the answer?
It's 76.
Yep.
Wow.
The number that was broadcast all week. I actually forgot.
Let's see. We also have Bill Richardson, who is a politician out of New Mexico. Apparently, he was a big deal in freeing hostages, and he died at 75.
75.
Let's
All
see.
right.
Yep. They're all, it's around the same age. It's not looking hopeful for us. Steve Harwell of Smash Mouth. Yep. That is very sad. 56 years old.
Yeah, not even a joke about that.
That was
It's not
sad,
that sad. It's not that sad. He drank himself this way.
Is that what it was? Are you sure?
Yeah.
He had liver failure from
Okay, hold on,
alcohol
though.
abuse.
Says Scott Maffei, who was talking about the meltdown he had after chugging 3 beers while someone was on a ride. He had it coming, okay? Because I'm the picture of hell as
Mary,
you're just puffing on
I
your...
do not drink very often, okay? But when I drink, I drink. I would guarantee that you drink a hell of a lot more by volume than I do.
I would 100% disagree with that.
I drink one night a week, maybe 1 night a week.
Do you also smoke 1 pack of cigarettes a day?
Yes.
A week?
But we're not talking about alcohol. We're not talking about cigarette abuse. We're talking about alcohol abuse.
No, what I meant to kind of say was you use a liar.
I'm not a liar.
You sit on a throne of lies.
I don't. You could check my recycle bin, talk to my wife. I may have 6 beers per week. That's it. And that's not even every week. I can't tell you the last time I bought beer. Well, that's a lie.
You never buy it. Your wife buys it.
You did have 7 last week's episode.
That is true.
I was going to say he met his quota already today. So
that's weird. I don't know. I was only a little suspicious about this. Anyways, what I'm saying is that, look, don't judge the man. It is still very sad that he had an illness that caused him to perish at such a young age. That is still sad.
Well, it's sad because they put him in hospice care and said, he has a week, which is sad in and of itself. But then literally 12 hours later, they were like, so he's gone.
I have a question. Do dead people wear their knickerbockers when they are buried?
They wear their knickerbockers.
Oh, okay.
A little,
Nick,
harder on the sea. Harder on the sea.
See, what I've learned about hospice is when they say that they're in hospice, they have at least 5 more years.
My grandma's been on hospice for 5 years.
Really?
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, man, it's anywhere between 12 hours and 22 years. We don't really know. There's not an in-between.
So someone made a joke about, my wife buys it. So I get to Hollywood Studios today, and my first interaction, I was like, hey guys, do you want to link up our passes so we can get Genie Plus? I said, I'll pay for it. So I see Sarah lean over to Lewis, and then Lewis says, don't you mean Rachel's going to buy it? And I look at Sarah. I was like, "Did you just whisper that to her? You can drop your one-liners. You can say it yourself. You don't have to."
It wasn't a joke. Yeah, it wasn't a joke. It was like an actual insult.
I didn't have my mimosas or my tequila yet, so I wasn't feeling very
Sarah
confident.
Sarah is a nice girl. Okay.
Any more celebrity deaths, Sarah?
I have one more. Gary Wright, who sang. He was famous for singing "Dreamweaver." If you know that song.
Oh, Dreamweaver.
Yeah.
That's the only word I know.
It was in Wayne's World, that song, yeah.
eternally weaving dreams.
He was 80 years old.
Wow. All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for our celebrity death
Yeah.
updates.
Well, it was busy this week.
It was. Busy week. All right, let's get to travels and tribulations. Now, when we last left the sophisticated gentleman, he's still in search for that one object that's going to help him with another object to put together the Holy Grail or something like that. The Amish were coming after him. He's blue-balled me not once, not twice, but 3 times with teasing me with the Indiana Jones segment. In fact, that seems to be the theme. I think I'm going to see Indiana Jones and then someone dies. So, all right, take it away, sophisticated gentleman.
What shall it bring when the gentleman rings on travels and tribulations?
Greetings, NNF cohort. I'm calling you from the dark. This will in fact be my final call as the sophisticated Batman, as I will officially be shedding my title of the Dark Knight because I'm in the final portion of the gauntlet to officially complete my mission. I've actually been carefully avoiding some booby traps in this tunnel down here, and as I'm doing that, it kind of reminds me of a classic adventure movie. Ladies and gentlemen, sorry to cut in here. Unfortunately, somebody has overheated in this tunnel here, so we're going to have to cancel the Indiana Jones segment for today. Let's continue on through this dark tunnel. That's right, I am, of course, talking about The Goonies. You might recall the character Slop in that film. Although he was being compared to Mary a few weeks back, I honestly think he looks a lot more like Scott. I mean, Scott must have based his style on this guy, right? You also might recall that throughout the movie, there's some companies that are trying to take hold of a golf course, which reminds me a lot of how Scott's neighborhood came to be as is. That might be why there's such a bad homeless problem in the country these days. Ooh, just avoided that knife that's coming out of the wall there. That reminds me a little bit of the pirate captain from the film One-Eyed Willie, which is incidentally what Chris calls his... Oh my goodness, look at that pirate ship over there. Just like the movie as well. Hold on a sec. If I get on that pirate ship, perhaps that's where my quarry will be. Actually reminds me of another adventure movie. The Pirates of the Caribbean series, of course. Or Caribbean, depending on who you are. Bunch of guys together on a ship for months on end. Sounds like a Sandpiper vacation trip to me. Now, you might recall in the first Pirates of the Caribbean film that there's these dead people that end up coming back to life. Kind of reminds me of an interview with a screenwriter from the mid-1970s, also dealing with ships in the ocean.
Wow.
Of course, the main character of those films, Captain Jack Sparrow, played by Johnny Depp, is a well-known alcoholic. On a completely unrelated note, Chris, I can't wait to see how long your intro and outro are on After Dark this week. Hold on, is that another mythical creature?
Yeah, Centaur animatronic gets me off every time.
Thanks, Alex. Speaking of mythical creatures, I just go through this passageway here. It looks like I'm in the final passageway, which of course reminds me of one more classic Quest film. Of course, I'm referring to Monty Python and the Holy Grail, the perfect film to finish my quest on. As I'm headed down this hallway for the final portion, let's recall the knights who say knee. If only they were the knights who say Achilles tendon, then maybe Chris would have joined me on this quest instead of sitting on his butt the entire time. Man, if only I had some coconuts I could clop together, then it would be like I'm riding a horse all the way down here.
Riding a horse?
Then, of course, there's the story about the shrubbery. Not that anyone who uses Manscaped knows anything about bushes. And there's the holy hand grenade, which the Catholic Church ended up using so much so that I think Sarah and her people might have some bad memories associated with it. Alright, I've finally made it to the last room. But this is a holy artifact. Let's say a prayer before I end up grabbing it and getting out of here. Lord Remy, who art in the waiting room, a rat shares your name. May your editing come, merging audio be done, while you're naked in bed eating popcorn. Give us the birthday game and marks 5 minutes, and forgive us for the wheel of misfortune, and lead us not into Halloween Horror Nights with $1 million, but deliver us from Reggie Jackson or Randy Jackson, one of the Jacksons. Amen. My God, here is the Grail. I think I'm going to be emotional. The Holy Grail. Alright, now it's time for me to grab this, run up those stairs over there, and get out of here. Hold on, wasn't there one more thing that Muggsy told me?
Well, everyone just mind your P's and your Q's and you won't get hurt.
No, it wasn't quite that.
Oh, I don't even walk this neighborhood, copper. This is nuts and nuts to this.
And it wasn't that either.
Finally, we'll have to defeat the Guardian of the Grail. Very dangerous. This is the guy that replaced Chris Yob with the fake Chris Yob. So you don't want to mess with him.
That's it.
Forgot all about that.
Haven't seen Guardian here yet, though. Let me pick up this frying pan. Hold on, there's a silhouette over by those tombstones over there. What if I knock out the Guardian, grab the Grail, and then dash up those steps? I'll be home free and I can pass the Grail over to the Amish and Matt from Wii Sports next week. Just gonna sneak up behind the Guardian here and take care of business.
Oh.
Jersey man versus Florida man. Hey guys, this is Ryan, coming to you from the No New Friends newsroom located this week.
Oh shoot, that was Ryan. Gosh, what am I supposed to do now?
Thank you, sophisticated gentlemen. Appreciate that. He referenced Achilles' heel, and I don't know if you guys know, but Chris ruptured his Achilles a couple weeks ago.
Oh, when we come back from break, yeah, I'll tell that story, Scott. I forgot.
But here's the really funny thing. So I get a call from Abby's school yesterday. She's in the clinic because she sprained her ankle. Homegirl was walking, no problem. She played. She ran a mile. She played basketball. She's dunking. She did not whine for 6 weeks about her. Oh, my sprained ankle.
Well, when I get into the story, I'll explain why I have all the right to.
So, Mary, what's going on with you? I feel like I've been talking a lot. How are you?
Oh, so many things. I've been better. So it's funny you mentioned that you got a call from Abby's school. I also got a call from Grayson's school. I had to pick him up from school yesterday. He was in the clinic, and it was because his heart hurt. And I was like, wait, what? And the nurse goes, yes, his heart hurts. He also said earlier today his stomach hurt, but also now a little bit his left eye. And I was like, is he just like, let me see what I can string together to
Mary
get me out of
does the same thing in the mental hospital. She goes up and says, my eye hurts, my heart hurts.
Yeah, just this hurts, please. Can I get some fentanyl? But I think he may have had indigestion, because heartburn, you don't really, that could feel like, that's why they call it heartburn.
Or he didn't want to take a test.
But what's wild, it's funny you say that, because I walk into the clinic and the kid is it was like comedy hour with Grayson. He's talking to everyone, and I walked in and I look at the front desk lady and I was like, oh my goodness, there was a miracle here. Wow, I'm here to pick up my sick child who was right here. Yeah, it was, and he actually had to finish a test the next day because they were mid-math test and they went to recess. Anyways, that's not what I was going to tell you. So this has been a rough week for me, guys. Mike Reedy decided very selfishly to go out of town for work. So I'm flying solo. I am a single mother right now, okay, of 5 children. Well, technically 4 children and an AC repairman. One of Grayson's friends thought that Caleb was an AC repairman because he looks like he's 35. He was like, oh, is that guy fixing your air conditioning? And I was like, no, that's my child. But also, is it hot in my house? Does it not feel like the AC is working? I have some questions. Still not what I wanted to tell you. So, okay, picture it. Tell me you have ADHD without telling me you have ADHD. Okay, Sarah, you've got kids. Let me ask you a question. What is the appropriate age for a belly button ring?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Never.
That's a good answer.
Never. Okay. Scott, what's the appropriate age for a belly button ring?
16.
Okay, so Zoe's 14, and she really wanted her belly button pierced.
And since you really have zero control over your kids, you got it for her.
I have a lot of control over my children. I don't have my belly button pierced. Okay, look, my children are beautiful, wonderful little baby angels, okay? Except for sometimes not. But we're all like that, right? We all have our bad days. Anyways, so I thought about it, good and hard. Why not, right? Let's think about this. What would be the reason for that not being... she could change her mind, take it out, right? It's not like it's a tattoo that's going to be there forever. So I thought about it. Talked to her dad about it. He was like, yeah, I don't really mind. And I was like, yeah, you know what? Neither do I. But here's the thing. I want her to be responsible. She's going to have to earn money and pay for it or save birthday money or do whatever.
That's going to go over real well, seeing as how long the Corgi coin economy lasted.
Listen. So I stuck to my guns and she was like, Mom, it's like $100 to get this done. And I was like, yeah, it ain't cheap, girlfriend. Like you're going to have to. So she came to me with a presentation. Zoe's very good with Google Slides. She said, you are so very smart, Mother. You're a beautiful woman. I'm like, thank you. This is headed in the right direction already. And at first I thought it was going to be like some Shark Tank stuff. Like she wanted me to invest in something, right? Like she was going to be like, you know what? If you pay for my belly button ring, I will pay you back because, whatever. So that's not the way it went. She was like, you are a medical professional. You land IVs. I mean, you are so wonderful and all these things. I can buy a piercing kit on Amazon for $20 and you can pierce my belly button for me. What say you, Mother? So Zoe has her belly button pierced now. Oh. I pierced her belly button, guys. I did it. I pierced her belly button. I did it myself. I said yes because she said I was pretty.
Have you?
But let me tell you,
I can already see how the conversation's going to go. Mary's going to catch her daughter underneath the bleachers, doing the thing that the high school kids do underneath the bleachers, and then there's going to be silence on the way home before the lecture, and then Mary's going to open her mouth, and then her daughter's going to have this nice presentation about how doing those things under the bleachers is okay and why. Because it's going to start off,
okay,
Mommy,
guys,
you're so pretty and a wonderful human being.
No, but
and you've
actually,
raised me
let's
so
think
good.
about this. That's a pretty smart way of going about doing it. Like, go source it. She found a cheaper source, right? I was free labor, essentially. And it was like something we did together. Which I'm going to be honest, she was like, okay, here's some reasons why I think it's nice that you would do it. One, sterile procedure better than anybody I know personally. You're a perfectionist, so I know it's not going to look dumb. And I know you care about me, so I know you're going to make sure everything is done right. And I also know that she was kind of like, pandering a bit, but she's not wrong,
you were such
right?
A little bit. So, no learning was done from this.
She learned to use her resources, and she did. She used her resources, and it looks great. I am so proud of myself, guys. I'm going to start selling this to all the high schoolers, like out of the back of my Outlander sport. Like, I'm just going to be like piercing belly buttons with my Amazon kit.
I tried that once, but I'm not allowed back on that campus.
That's not why you're not allowed back on the campus, Scott. But yeah, I did it, guys, and it didn't blink that much. Like, I did so good. It looks so great, and I'm like really proud of myself. But I'm also like a little scared to share the story with anybody because, like, I don't know. Maybe that wasn't the right thing to do.
Well, if you brought her to go and get it done, they would need parental consent. So you just skipped all of it.
Skipped
and did it yourself. So, right.
Yeah. And the kit came with sterile gloves that she got, but they're like huge. And I have my own sterile stuff. I mean, I had like all my like hospital gear. I set her all up, you know. I used the little clampy thing. I even used Lidocaine to like, you know, numb her up. They don't give you that there. Clamped her up. Was like, pop, 12 gauge right through it. Got it.
Ooh.
Looks great.
Listen, my dad worked in an emergency room for 25 years, and he used to do draw our blood at home, give us shots at home, do all of that. Like, hey, I'll just take it home with me and do it there, and I'll bring it back to the hospital tomorrow. Whatever.
It was no difference. The difference was very minimal between accessing like a fistula. Like, it wasn't, I mean, it was the same. Like, I felt like it was very normal. Like, I did not feel uncomfortable doing it. I felt bad. I didn't want her to experience pain, but she even said, she's like, oh, it's done. It really didn't hurt that bad. And I was like, oh, wow, look at that. You saved $80. You're welcome. I don't know. I think she learned a lesson. And so did I.
Jew approved right there.
Jew approved.
Yeah.
Well,
thank you. You know what, Sarah? You're the only one I knew that would be on my side.
Why didn't you charge her? Why didn't you charge her?
It is true.
You're not free labor.
Because it was good. Well, it was good practice for me because now I can open an underground business, baby. Sarah, you know about the underground. Like, come on. Like,
I know about the underground business.
I think the Underground Railroad is something completely different.
Yeah.
Yes, they wore knickerbockers there.
Different minority.
Yes. Anyway, so that was a learning lesson as well. I a lot of things have happened since Mike Grady has been gone. Dexter was riding his bike, and the front wheel just fell off. The front wheel fell off. He flipped over the handlebars and ate. I can't say the word. Really hard, like just skinned up his elbows. All of my kids are injured. I don't know what's happening.
Did he break his Achilles tendon?
Well, I don't think you can break that. You can rupture that. He did break his spirit a little bit, though. His spirit was definitely broken. He's got two like things wrapped up on his arms, and he was like, "It's a good thing my mother is a second responder." And I was like, what?
A second responder?
And I was like, wait a minute. And he goes, yeah, because you weren't outside when it happened. The neighbor helped me. And then you wrapped me up. So you were the second responder.
Hey, you can put that on a resume.
Wow. I'm a second responder. Anyway, so how's your week going, guys? Things are going great here. I'm going fine.
You're listening to the No New Friends podcast. When we come back, Jersey Man, Florida Man, and much more.
Hey there, Scott here. You all know I like to spend time wandering the neighborhood on my big wheels or hanging out at the park with my fedora and my Bud Light. So I don't have time to clean my own house. That's why I've been using I Believe services for the past 6-7 years, and they're the best in commercial and residential cleaning. They're also doing carpet shampooing at such a reasonable price. Just check them out. That's ibelieveservices.us. Give them a call, 407-928-4595, and tell them that the No New Friends podcast sent you.
Picture it, St. Augustine, Florida, 2022. You're on the Night Watchman Ghost Tour with all of your ghoul friends. The air grows colder, you turn the corner, and there she is, Ghost Mary. Okay, you probably won't run into Ghost Mary. You may see a ghost named Mary. I'm not really 100% sure, but the tour guides for the Night Watchman Ghost Tour from See America Tours do know it is the only 4D ghost tour in St. Augustine. So if you have ever wondered what a ghost smells like, well, now is your chance. And right now they have a scary good deal going on. Enter the promo code NNF, as in No New Friends, and receive 25% off your Night Watchman Ghost Tour. So visit them at seeamericatours.net. That is SEE Americatours.net. Okay, bye.
Hi, this is Jeremy Miller from Growing Pains, and you're watching the No New Friends podcast.
Welcome back to the No New Friends podcast, number 3 in your hearts if you're an Orlando Weekly reader. So thank you for that. We appreciate it. I did order. So this award, coming in third place has cost us so much money, by the way. So
Has it?
when she. Oh, well, it hasn't cost you anything, but it's cost
Sarah,
Rachel
did you sign off
money.
on this?
So
I wouldn't spend that much money.
I use my own money so I don't have to go through a democracy process and ask everybody's feedback and votes. I just
You wonder why I wrote
that
those. Man, let me tell you. Have you ever looked at our contract, guys? I did a damn good job. Anyways.
No, I've never looked at the contract.
Oh, you signed
Nobody
it.
reads those.
What contract?
For the LLC?
Well, I need to see it
You
because
did
I've been wanting to get together
it.
to do a business thing. I don't remember that. You just
are you
put something
saying
in
that
my
you were under
face.
duress when you signed it?
Whoa.
Yes, I was. This was 3 years
You
ago.
sit on so many thrones
But,
of lies. You would think you'd be taller.
Yeah, it's so I can avoid the whole democracy process. I just pay for things out of pocket.
Donald Trump. Jesus.
Because I don't want to have to. Well, listen, I don't want to deal with waiting for 10 years for a response to a text message to make a decision on anything. So when we got the original email, like, hey, you're in the top 3. What a great way to say thank you by taking out this quarter-page ad for $400.
Why
I'm
not?
like, that does sound like a great way to say thank you to our voters. So I took out a quarter-page ad. Then I get this email, okay, your proof is ready. I'm like, what proof? And they're like, here's your award. It's a nice plaque and all that, and you can kind of customize it a little bit. And they're like, only 172. And I'm like, that sounds like a bargain. I need to have that. So, God damn it, third place was so expensive.
I know.
That's pretty
That's
expensive
what I was
for a
thinking.
plaque.
You sent out a text to all of us, and you're like, let me know if anyone else wants one. And I wanted to be like, I'll just take a picture with yours. Like, what? I don't.
Well,
and I was almost going to message because I entered a contest for Sandpiper Vacations, and I don't think I won, but they keep sending me emails of getting a plaque saying that I was basically entered. So I could have
participation award.
I could have paid for my own participation trophy. So,
But don't you also think, Scott, that I could take the picture of that to some other plaque place? I don't know, like Amazon, and have somebody who is also skilled and make it.
Listen,
I don't know.
I'm think about
it's
all
official.
that. And yes, it's official
And he
from
didn't pay
Orlando Weekly.
And Rachel paid
Right,
for
so
it.
And Rachel paid for
and
it.
now
It
don't
would've
you
been
think that maybe
it would have been
look, Zoe's
$125 each
piercing
if
story
everybody
isn't
got
as
one.
bad now?
What?
Okay. Oh, well, you didn't say that, but also
I would have
you
gotten
were
one
like
for 125.
you were on board with it when I was like, couldn't we take the proof somewhere else and done it cheaper? And now all of a sudden, Zoe's piercing story doesn't sound as wild, huh? Right?
When you win something, aren't
See?
you supposed to get we
should have got
we won
something.
an invitation to buy a
We
plaque?
drove a bunch of traffic to their website.
Give me a certificate. Just give me a printout.
Let me
I don't
get
care.
it. Give me a handshake.
Yeah.
No, don't touch me. Never mind. Never mind.
You guys ready to play Jersey Man, Florida Man?
Yeah.
Can't wait.
Whether flipping a fan boat or crashing a truck, these states are filled with people who suck. So it's time for us to play New Jersey Man versus Florida Man.
Every week, Game Master Ryan brings us 2 news stories. One is from Jersey, one is from Florida. It is up to us to determine which one is which. Take it away, Ryan.
Hey guys, this is Ryan, coming to you from the No New Friends newsroom located this week.
Oh shoot, that was Ryan. Gosh, what am I supposed to do now? Hey guys, this is the Sophisticated Gentleman coming to you from the No New Friends newsroom located this week at the Graveyard of Dead No New Friends segment. After last week's movie recasting segment went for an entire half hour, where the entire joke was that Scott was the only one who knew all the Muppets, I decided that along that same train of thought, I would pay a visit here and reflect on some of the past missing segments of the No New Friends podcast.
Oh, God.
In many ways, it's a hall of fame. When Scott has an idea that is just bad enough, it finally makes it here. As I'm passing by the tombstone for the bad movie reviews, I'm seeing History Time with Mary just over the summit there. Then, of course, there was the No New Friends Rewind, which was essentially an excuse for Scott to call out Mary. Interestingly enough, after Scott spelled Juno wrong so many times between TikTok, Instagram, and the episode released last week, I'm not that surprised that this segment ended up going away. Of course, perhaps that segment just came to be because the word wrong was stuck in Scott's head. Knowing him, he was probably trying to come up with a potential baby name for the couple that runs his local #1 Chinese. Of course, we had bad food truck reviews with Sarah. And according to Scott, any food truck that serves a metal straw would be bad. That really doesn't surprise me. Scott had an absolute mental breakdown, or another mental breakdown, when Nick used a metal straw on the episode last week. That's not surprising at all. Scott gets very jealous when he sees things that are long and hard for significant periods of time. Over here, there's the tombstone to Chris's conspiracy corner. Written on it looks like it says, I was able to say Eskimo. According to Scott, though, that word is just as bad as the N-word. That's interesting coming from somebody with a boring white name. Next thing we know, there's going to be an episode of No New Friends After Dark talking about the Apache Grill. The Apache Grill, in case you're interested, is located in Traverse City, Michigan. 13671 Southwest Bay Shore Drive. If you're interested in ordering from them, you can give them a call at 231-947-7079. I bet Chris is picking up the phone and calling them already. No wonder he wasn't cold over in Alaska. He had all the blubber surrounding him anyways. Anyways, let's get back to our cemetery here. Oh, here's actually one that I have a connection to, the holiday of the day. That reminds me, December 3rd is Handicap Awareness Day. Although, according to Scott, you're not allowed to say that because Florida is so much more progressive and ahead of the rest of the country. Maybe that's why Florida signed a law that prohibited some Chinese citizens from owning property in Florida and, of course, having the Don't Say Gay bill. Then, of course, there was the Queen of the Car Line and then the Queen of the Sunrail, both of which came to a screeching halt like Mitch McConnell in any given interview. There was the adulting question of the week, and there was the Gospel according to Remy, which, incidentally, reminds me that it, on a religious standpoint, feels like Scott is starting to add individuals to the show simply so that he can make jokes about them. The number of jokes about the Jewish religion has risen significantly since Sarah joined, and then I noticed Scott made a couple of jokes about the gay population last week after Nick's officially joined. Also,
and it burns, 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 the ring of fire, the ring of fire.
Oh, excuse my ringtone there. Sorry about that. I also want to be very clear, that wasn't a joke about the Holocaust. That was a joke about what Mike Pence thinks happens to gay people. Screw that. In that same vein, though, I wouldn't be surprised if Scott starts adding a more diverse group of hosts for No New Friends. The cast is becoming as large as Remy's Roundtable at this point. And after all, Scott does have a more diverse cast. He can finally call one of his co-hosts Kung Fu Lou and another Taco Bob, like he's always dreamed of doing. Kind of like he already does with his yard workers. Well, we've reached the end of the cemetery, it looks like. While I pay my respects to this ostentatious tombstone honoring strange news, let's get into this week's Florida Man or Jersey Man. In our first story, a man used a drone to drop green dye into many of his neighbors' pools. And in our second story, a man tried to use a homemade large hamster wheel to cross the Atlantic Ocean.
Oh. All right. Let's go, Nick. Which one's which? You have drone dyeing pools and crossing the ocean in a hamster wheel.
I'm thrown now because I figured the pools was Florida because everybody has a pool in Florida. But it sounds stupid enough that somebody would build a hamster wheel in Florida. So I'm going to go with hamster wheel.
All right, Chris.
I'm going to say Hamster Wheel, New Jersey, because we are in closer proximity to Portugal. I don't know. That makes sense. I mean, like the closest place in the Atlantic would be to Portugal, I would assume.
Bermuda?
No, you have to cross the Atlantic.
Oh.
He's crossing it.
Isn't crossing it if you reach something else?
Oh, you know what?
Yeah.
You know what? Actually, they tried to cross it. That's a Florida thing. They definitely tried.
Yeah, Florida would never make it.
Yeah.
All right, Mary, what are your thoughts?
Their rationale originally is spot on, right? Because I'm pretty sure that you could piss off more people per square foot in Florida if you dyed their pool green. So I'm going to go Pools, Florida, obviously. A little hammy wheel for New Jersey.
And I'm sorry, I do have to cut you off. In Mary's defense, you don't have to dye the pools green up here. They're pre-green. So I don't know.
True.
I don't know. Yeah.
They just come that way.
Yeah.
Sarah?
I was going to say pools are pretty nasty in Florida, actually.
I was going to say the
I've
same.
seen more nasty pools than clean ones. And I think that stupidity or drugs has to do with the hamster wheel. So I'm going to go hamster wheel, Florida.
Yeah, this definitely sounds like meth to me. So Polk County resident builds a hamster wheel to cross the Atlantic, and someone in
what is this 4 against 1?
I think so.
Wow.
For a bonus point, I'm going to say
team.
The plot twist is they started in the Gulf of Mexico.
All right, let's find out the answer.
And our first story is from New Jersey, where a 45-year-old man was arrested and charged with dropping green dye into a number of swimming pools around his New Jersey area, significantly making the quality in pool of a significantly lower quality. This type of sea dye has also been used to help rescue individuals lost at sea. Incidentally, I'm not surprised that Chris didn't have to use this while he was on his cruise. If he did fall out of the boat and onto the water, people would have assumed that it was just another large iceberg floating by. That means that our second story must be from a Florida man, specifically a Florida man who traveled to Georgia in an attempt to cross the Atlantic Ocean to London, England during a hurricane. When the Coast Guard attempted to arrest him, the man attempted to kill himself with a 12-inch knife and then claimed that he had a bomb aboard, both of which were very much bluffs on his part. As it turned out, the man who was attempting to cross the ocean had attempted to do it 2 times previously.
What?
I'm also surprised that he didn't attempt to cross the ocean with Chris Yob, as Chris Yob would look like a glacier going across the ocean as is. And in other news, a large bear known as Hank the Tank was recently captured near Lake Tahoe. This bear was notorious in the area, leading to 152 reports of conflict behavior and 28 home break-ins. For all these break-ins, the bear attempted to gain more weight by eating more food. But of course, he was not as large as Chris Yob, who with all his weight gain still looks like a large glacier. Well, that's all for me. Hopefully Ryan wakes up and talks to you guys again next week.
So that's actually so funny because I work at a restaurant on the beach, and I had a couple of guests that came in a couple weeks ago, and they stopped and they looked at me and they looked out the window at the beach and they said, "Question. Is it England that's right across from here? Like, can I, this is the Atlantic Ocean, right? And England is right over there, right?" And I couldn't believe it. So I think what happened was they got a big hamster wheel and they tried to find it themselves.
It was probably them.
So,
yeah, it had to have been.
Exactly.
They're like, I think we can make it. It can't be that long, right?
No, of course not.
Shove some coconut shrimp in your pocket and let's go, babe. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
pull out your telescope. You can see it from here. Don't worry.
Yeah. What was her name? She could see Russia from her backyard in Alaska.
Sarah Palin.
Yeah, it's got to be the same thing.
I just have to say, this is the first time I've actually gotten it right. I'm proud of myself.
Very good.
It doesn't happen for me either very often.
Nick's on the mic, so it's time to take notice. And if you don't like it, that's homophobic. Stay the hell out of his way. Move, I'm gay.
I guess I will cut in here and say that I just was on the This Is and talked about the brand new Disney Treasure cruise ship that's coming out soon.
Yeah, that thing looks amazing.
Yeah, if you've not seen it, it comes out. It launches December 2024, so basically 2025, because knowing Disney, it's probably going to be late, like usual. It's only me that gets on. I'm living in a live studio audience world. So if you haven't followed us on Sandpiper Vacations yet, please go visit us, sandpipervacations.com, and we are Sandpiper Vacations on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And you can keep up to date with all the brand new Disney Cruise Line and vacation destinations out there, including next week, where I am headed to, hopefully, Orlando.
Yeah, as long as there's no hurricane, I'm excited.
Where we are doing Halloween Horror Nights on September 14th and Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party on September 15th. So you can follow us along for fun entertainment and probably lots of laughs of me screaming like a little girl.
Yeah, I'm so excited to hang out with you guys next week. I'm really looking forward to it.
And if the hurricane comes, we're just going to bunker down at Scott's house and we'll just make our own haunted house.
Why not?
So,
Why not? Why not? I have so many gay jokes that I could put in right here with the lights being off and haunted house and touching, but I couldn't formulate the joke fast enough.
Well, and it's my segment, so I don't want you talking. Oh, one last thing. So we did talk about it on No New Friends After Dark last week, and this month is my birthday month. So thank you guys for not remembering to celebrate me. So I am celebrating.
What do you mean for not remembering? We have a whole entire song and dance prepared.
I'm waiting. Is that the final segment? But anyways, in honor of my birthday month, it's also my daughter Harper's birthday month, and since she passed away, she would have been turning 7 this year. So we are celebrating by donating back to the Ronald McDonald House charities in Central Ohio. So if you are interested in donating to Ronald McDonald House, you can Venmo me at Nick-Bryan, and I will make sure that all those money gets sent over to Ronald McDonald House. It is a great foundation. So
Nick-Bryan on Venmo?
Nick-Bryan.
And that's Bryan.
Correct.
To clarify.
Yes.
And I'll make sure that that's in the episode description.
Yeah, we usually set it up on Facebook, but it's all complicated on there. So that just makes it easier. That way you don't have to pay any fees or anything. So, but thank you for all your support. Thanks for celebrating my birthday month with me, even though I invited you weren't invited. And you know what? I'm going to move out of the way. I'll move out of the way. It's your turn again.
Thank you so much, Nick. Chris, you got any Cliff Notes?
I do.
It's been quite the show. A lot of stuff's happened, so nothing can stop this little boy from recapping the day the Chris's Cliff's Notes way.
So I want to start this off by wishing Nick a happy birthday month.
Oh my God, thank you so much. How did you know?
So, okay, in my defense, I apologize for being so late, but Scott does move me to the back of the podcast because I am a percentage Puerto Rican. So he's like, no, you got it. You're moved to the back of the podcast. I don't know. Anyway, so for those of you who are watching live on Twitch right now, you can watch us live at No New Friends Podcast, NNF Podcast.
Twitch.tv/NNF Podcast.
NNF Podcast. So you can watch us. You can watch us live. If you are watching live, you see Scott is for the first time wearing a fedora and a Hawaiian shirt while recording. It's an awesome look. I'm a little confused. I'm not sure if he just got back from a barbecue or if someone dared him to do his worst Jimmy Buffett impression. I'm not sure. Not sure.
Wow.
Anyway, speaking of Jimmy Buffett,
you want to see my Mitch McConnell impression?
We have.
Actually, looks like your Jimmy Buffett impression because he's dead.
Scott, we're using Riverside. We don't know if you're kidding or not.
So speaking of Jimmy Buffett, we had to cancel our interview with him next week because he went from wasting away in Margaritaville to wasting away 6 feet under in a wooden box.
Oh, wow.
So I'm kidding. It's a joke. He was cremated. He wasn't buried. They turned up the heat and chilled the rosé.
Wow.
A once lively human being, unfortunately, now is nothing but a cheeseburger in paradise. And it's really nothing. It's really not something to joke about. Because his trip around the sun stops here. And there was a change in his latitude. Now, I hope we have some Jimmy Buffett fans who understood all these song references.
Look, there's nothing else we can do but get drunk and screw. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm going to go find that shaker of salt, too, while I'm at it.
I think you found it a long time ago, Nick. So,
if this was Remy's bit, he'd only be able to quote 2 songs.
That was so funny last night. Anyways, we went on. Scott talked about how much he hated the yellow strap on Star Wars. I haven't been on many rides with Scott, but I did ride one with him that had a white safety strap. He didn't complain once. So
Oh, wow.
Not really sure.
Wow.
Scott debuted a new jingle for Remy's segment, and while most of you heard and were impressed, don't be. He didn't even pay for this one. He just asked the choir boys at church for a favor, to which they replied, "You're not allowed to be here anymore." The word of the week that Scott gave Remy this week was knickerbocker, which was a surprise to Remy. This was also a surprise to Scott, who gave him a very different but similar word.
And if you'd like to suggest a word of the week for Remy, just email us, nonewfriendspodcast@yahoo.com.
Sophisticated gentleman mispronounced Pirates of the Caribbean as Pirates of the Caribbean. Scott told me he relates to this because, in his words, not mine, Scott mispronounces the words nuisances with minorities all the time.
Wow. Oh my God.
His words, not mine. His words, not mine.
Wow.
Mary asked Scott what a good age was for getting a belly button, and he replied 16. Now, oddly enough, 16 is also his answer to various other questions having to do with consent.
The age of consent in the state of Florida is 16.
Oh my God.
Mary said that she was a medical professional tonight. Funny, because I watched a TikTok where she said she wasn't a medical professional yet. Whatever the case may be, you are now more qualified than 80% of doctors in Florida. So congratulations for that. Mary pierced her own daughter's belly button, which is a great experience for nursing. Not only because she pierced it, but because next week she'll be able to treat the infection. Mary told us a bunch of stories this week, and after listening to the episode that I wasn't here for, where we talked about Mary living her life in Shutter Island, I have no idea what to believe anymore. I feel like I'm listening to Black Mirror every time Mary talks now.
Oh, God.
In Sophisticated Gentleman's segment, he talked about a bear who would break into people's houses. Upon hearing the news, Nick now leaves his door unlocked. And lastly, Sophisticated Gentleman talked about Scott being racist in the Florida Man versus Jersey Man segment, which I don't think is fair. You guys didn't hear it at home, but when we did go on break, Scott assured us that he does have a black friend. So please guys, just take his word for it. And those are my Cliff Notes.
Wonderful.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Chris.
you.
Thank you.
Hey, this is Alex from Diz His, along with
Chris from the No New... Wait, what is this an ad for?
This is an ad for Diz His on No New Friends.
Oh my gosh, I'm so out of place. So, yeah, we're on a Disney podcast, right, Alex?
Yeah, you and me now. We're doing a Disney podcast, Disney History, every week. On Tuesdays, it drops. Social media is Diz His Pod.
Yeah, if you ever need cleansing of the obscurities that you hear on this show, check us out on Diz His podcast, where we do something way more innocent.
And if you love Alex's segment, which is me, my history segment, then you'll love our full episode of Disney History.
Yeah, if you want a big load of Alex, listen to the Diz His podcast. You're going to love it. A little bit of me, a lot of Alex. It's like half and half, but a lot of Alex. A lot of Alex.
Whoa. There's a lot of you too. You also give up a big load yourself.
That's fair.
Chris, what do you got coming up on Diz His?
So we are up against it, which is something that I have heard in the past. So I do want to keep this short and sweet, which is coincidentally the same nickname that Nick has for my penis. So This segment is brought to you by Sandpiper Vacations, the best place to go for your traveling needs. I use Nick from Sandpiper Vacations. I use Nick from Sandpiper Vacations to book my vacations. And you should too. He listen, he's doing the work for you, and he doesn't charge you for it. Sarah knows what's up. I know what's up. Hey, go to sandpipervacations.com. Tell them the No New Friends podcast sent you. This week, we do the history on a woman named Verna something. I don't remember her last name, Scott.
Okay.
I'm not going to lie to you.
What did Verna something
I
do?
am not going to lie to you.
It was a weird last name.
Yeah, see? It wasn't Troyer. I think that was the little guy in
Felton.
Austin Powers.
Felton?
Verna Felton. Spoiler alert, not related to Raymond Felton, the New York Knickerbockers point guard back in 2016.
Wait, is that where the Knicks came from?
It is.
Oh,
they are actually the New York Knickerbockers.
God.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Fun fact for you.
Yeah.
Fun fact for you.
She can pierce a belly button, but doesn't know where sport nicknames come from.
Verna Felton was the voice actor
hold on.
from...
We've got to be fair.
Go ahead.
Nick, the New York Knickerbockers are a professional basketball team that play in New York.
Sorry, I forgot to pause. Yeah. Pause for that. Verna Felton, famous voice actor, voices characters in the likes of the Mad Queen. What is her name? Queen of Hearts. Queen of Hearts from Alice in Wonderland. Got a lot of those characters mixed up. Queen of Hearts and the mother from Dumbo. And then, so please listen to that. She's she died young.
Mad Queen. That kind of sounds like Mary when I bring up building a website.
I don't get mad. You're the mad one. You're the mad queen. That's you. Someone pulls up a yellow strap.
That is pretty fair. If you want to know more about her, listen to the episode. I learned a lot about her during that episode as well. So learn with me. DizHiz.com. No. Actually, I got rid of that website. Just Google DizHiz. It'll pop up.
And I'm going to be on next
Too
week.
expensive.
Next week's
you
episode.
Are, yeah. Spoiler alert. Yeah. We have our food and wine expert, Scott, coming on for the food and wine festival.
Well, I've been begging Alex, do the history of drinking around the world. He goes, there's no history. That's not a Disney thing. And I'm like, oh, I've got a t-shirt that says
Scott's
otherwise.
like, it's actually my DUIs. My assault charges on cast members.
You can connect with DizHiz on all social media. That's DizHiz Pod. Their episodes come out every single Tuesday. We've got some other great podcasts to tell you about. The Black Lincoln Collective podcast. You're going to want to check them out. They're super funny. They make me laugh. We also have Don't Wreck Yourself, where Ryan takes on the Gordian knot that is the internet's BS and tries to untangle it. Then also Ashes to Awesome, where Chuck LaFlange takes us through his rise from addiction and into recovery. Also, Cases of Continuity, where the Sophisticated Gentleman is bringing us through the James Bond series. Such a great podcast. Definitely check it out. I think my mom started listening to it because she's a big James Bond fan. So it's a short listen. It's about 30 minutes. So check out that podcast. Chris, what do you got for us?
I recommend Studio 21, the baseball podcast, which is a podcast about baseball with Christian and Jared, our very own OG Patreon.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was there since the very beginning. I also recommend Remy's Roundtable, where Scott is on this week. And Scott asked a very educational question. If you had to have sexual intercourse with a Muppet to bring back a defunct Florida attraction, which Muppet would that be? So tune into Remy's Roundtable to find out that answer. And lastly, I encourage you to Google BBD. If you need some cleansing... If you need some cleansing from what you just saw, please check out our friend over at Big Beautiful Diz, Dane, where he breaks down very innocent Disney attractions. He just actually broke down the famous song from the soundtrack, The Incredibles. Great video. Check him out. Big Beautiful Diz on YouTube.
Thank you, Chris. And Sarah, what's coming up on Nerd Archive?
They are continuing to talk about Ahsoka, so it's getting better and better. So tune in to check that out.
Awesome. And the ever so popular Let's Find Out from Dane about a mental health moment.
Hey, this is Dane from Big Beautiful Diz. And because I know Mary's father better than she does, what's the point? This bit has gone on long enough. I just can't find any motivation or anything to record this segment. You've caught me at my lowest point. And what's even the episode? This episode's title is Depression, and Dr. Ed Samaro talks about depression and how to treat that kind of stuff. This episode's really needed right now, so I haven't even listened to it. I'm gonna go listen to it. I'll be right back. So I just got done listening to the episode, and wow, I have a whole new outlook on life. This is just absolutely amazing. This is easily the best episode so far, and it's just incredible. It's just incredible. Scott, I want to thank you for making me do this segment, and thank you for finally releasing me from your basement, because the sun is shining, the birds are chirping, just everything's amazing. After I've listened to a mental health moment with Dr. Ed Samaro. Mary, you should absolutely do the same. I recommend this podcast to anybody. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dane.
Thanks, Dane.
And that's,
I had no idea
You're
where that was
invited
going.
to Christmas, Dane. I think you should actually probably go.
That'll be the last time that we hear from Dane about a mental health moment, because there are literally
I don't know.
only 4 episodes.
Look, you say that, but wait until my dad hears about how popular he is and he doesn't even know it, okay? He's going to start just lickety-split rolling these bad boys out.
Listen, we can turn any podcast into never a single play to 10 plays, okay? We've got that much power.
Yeah, man.
We will increase your listener base by 10 people.
It's true.
Check out all of those amazing podcasts. You can check out New Friends After Dark every single Wednesday night, where we peel back the onions, the layers of life, if you will. And it's hosted by Chris.
The parfaits?
No, not parfaits, onions, because
everybody loves parfaits.
Everybody does love parfaits, but life,
I know for as gay as the show is, an onion's not very gay. A parfait sounds better.
I might change to parfait. I might pivot.
Okay, well, we'll see. You're giving Chris way too much to make his intro even longer than it already is.
Yeah, tune in to see how long I can make this.
Yeah. Speaking of things that are taking forever, you can connect with us on all of our social media. All of our links are right there on our website, nonewfriendspodcast.com. While you're there, check out our really sweet merchandise and join our clubhouse. Become a friend with benefits. That's our Patreon. You can watch us as we record all of these things live, and then check us out on Twitch every Wednesday night, twitch.tv/NNF podcast. On behalf of Lord Remy, the Sophisticated Gentleman, Game Master Ryan, and Dane, our producer Alex, my daughter Abby, Sarah, Nick, Chris, Mary, I'm Scott. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next time.
Okay, bye.